Whatever your sun, moon, or rising sign, there is a message in the sky waiting for you.
This is Horoscope TV, your essential guide to astrology.
Welcome back to Horoscope TV, where we analyze the astrological data to provide a strategic blueprint for your year ahead.
And today, we are turning our analytical lens toward the Aquarius forecast for 2026. And it's a monumental year that promises profound personal transformation.
Right, a transformation that really sets the stage for what looks like unprecedented partnership success later on. And that's really our mandate for this discussion, to break down the key planetary movements, the major transits, the eclipses, both solar and lunar, and, of course, those critical retrograde phases that are shaping the path for you, the water bearer.
Exactly. We want to give you the exact timing, the real opportunities, and also the strategic warnings you'll need to navigate 2026 with, informed precision.
So if we look at the big picture, the whole cosmic landscape for Aquarius in 2026, the story is just, it's dominated by two major movements, isn't it?
It absolutely is. First, there's this massive high-octane personal reboot that happens right out of the gate. The first quarter, you get this huge burst of energy. You just start the year impossible to ignore.
And I find that initial intensity so fascinating because it almost immediately gives way to what looks like a really rare and golden year for relationships, for collaboration, commitment.
Yes.
And that partnership energy then leads directly into a pretty critical professional and financial review phase at the very end of the year. It's almost like a perfectly structured two-part play.
Precisely. The rhythm is set by two defining transits. First, you have that incredibly powerful conjunction of Mars and Venus moving into your sign early in the year.
That's the me first phase.
That is the me first phase. It establishes the confidence you need. Then, and this is arguably the most impactful transit of the decade, you have the shift of lucky Jupiter into your partnership sector in the summer.
Which sets up the theme.
It sets up the critical theme. Me first, then we. And really, your success for the whole year hinges entirely on your ability to leverage that early self-focus into beneficial collaboration later on.
Okay, so let's start with that personal reboot. Because the data shows Aquarius kicks off 2026 with just this undeniable surge of personal power, of vitality. It sets a really magnetic tone. What exactly is creating this sudden, intense glow-up?
It's what astrologers call the power couple transit. It's a rare and extremely beneficial alignment happening directly in your signs, your first house of self and identity. And this is all happening between January and early March.
And we're talking about Venus and Mars here.
We're talking about Venus, the planet of love, charm, and personal value, coupled with Mars, the planet of action, courage, and just sheer physical vitality.
Wow. I mean, that blend is so potent. Venus makes you magnetic. You're attracting people and opportunities without even trying. And then Mars gives you the courage to actually go after them.
Yes.
It really does sound like the universe is just handing Aquarius the keys to their own kingdom.
It is a phenomenal combination. You're not just passively attractive, you are attracting and pursuing at the same time. This energy boosts your physical appearance, your whole presence. Your confidence will be noticeable.
So you'll seem more dynamic, more authoritative even.
Absolutely. In every part of life, from social settings to the boardroom.
So let's talk timing. We have to highlight that specific power week right at the start of the year because this feels like the window where that magnetism and that drive just align perfectly.
Okay, you need to circle January 17th through January 23rd on your calendar. This is the absolute peak window to launch yourself, personally or professionally.
What happens then?
Venus enters Aquarius on the 17th, and immediately you get that aesthetic and charismatic boost. You just look and feel good. You're radiant. Then Mars joins the party on the 23rd.
And that Mars injection is so crucial, isn't it? Because Aquarius, you often rely on intellectualizing everything, but can sometimes struggle with that messy act of just starting something.
Exactly. Mars provides the pure, raw action and courage you need to overcome that intellectual hurdle. This is the moment to make the first move in romance, to pitch that bold business idea that needs some real guts, or to just start a new fitness routine.
So you have the charisma from Venus and the stamina from Mars.
Yeah, both. You can not only begin, but you can follow through on any major undertaking. The energy is one of just unstoppable momentum.
But just as this personal push is getting underway, there's a huge cosmic event that looks like it demands a total recalibration. It's like the ultimate reset button.
That would be the solar eclipse in Aquarius on February 17th. And eclipses in your own sign are extremely rare. They always signal a major, non-negotiable change in your life path, your presentation, your whole self-concept.
The universe is hitting the fresh start button on your identity.
The ultimate fresh start button, yeah.
So if you're experiencing this, how do you distinguish it from just a regular desire for change? I mean, what makes an eclipse-driven change so powerful?
An eclipse feels destined. It's often a radical departure from your norm. It might mean cutting ties with an old version of yourself that just doesn't serve your future anymore.
And in practical terms, what does that look like?
In practical terms, it could manifest as changing your entire professional look, making a sudden major decision to shed an old toxic relationship habit, or just declaring firmly, I am done attracting this certain type of emotionally unavailable partner.
So the external changes, the new haircut, the new wardrobe, those are just the visible signs of a massive internal restructuring of your self-worth and your identity.
Absolutely. The internal shift is the engine driving all of this. By fundamentally changing who you are on the inside, what you value, what you tolerate, how you see yourself, you radically alter the gravitational pull of your life.
And that directly affects who and what you attract for the rest of 2026.
It sets the entire foundation for the massive partnership year that's about to come.
Okay, so let's pivot to the strategic implication of this glow-up. How does this new identity translate directly into income and professional opportunity?
Well, that Mars energy in your sign lasts from January 23rd all the way to March 2nd. And this isn't just about feeling good physically. It's your most productive and impactful time professionally all year.
Why is that?
When the planet of ambition is in your first house, people inherently see you as the leader, the initiator, the one with the answers.
This sounds like the prime window for pitches and promotions.
Precisely. If you need to make a job application, launch a major project, pitch to investors, or apply for a leadership role, that window is your peak performance period. Your natural confidence and stamina will just carry you past any competitors.
So you have to leverage the new brand identity you've just established from that February 17th eclipse.
Exactly. The ultimate message here for you, Aquarius, is one of intense front-loading. The energy you invest in your physical health, your personal branding, and just confident initiation during those first 8 weeks of 2026.
That will act as the financial and romantic fuel for the entire rest of the year.
You must capitalize on that initial surge. This whole phase is about establishing yourself as the undeniable force in your own life.
Okay, now, let's turn our attention to the financial forecast. Because the analysis shows Aquarius is slated for a massive financial sigh of relief after a period that, let's be frank, was characterized by some pretty serious financial austerity.
The financial boot camp, yes. A period of very serious lessons in budgeting.
So what cosmic event is responsible for finally ending that period of restriction?
The Great Release. It happens right around February 13th. That is the moment. Saturn, the planet of restriction, limitation, and hard lessons, finally exits your second house of earned income and personal value.
And Saturn's been there for a while.
Saturn has been demanding rigor here since 2023, forcing you to confront exactly what you are worth and how you manage your cash flow.
I have to interject a caution here, though. If the financial boot camp ends, aren't Aquarians, who are known for their detachment, a little prone to immediately relaxing that discipline or, overspending once the pressure's off?
That is a brilliant point. The true strategic value isn't that you can suddenly be reckless, it's that the restrictive block on cash flow dissolves. That scarcity mindset finally ends.
But you keep the lessons.
You keep the lessons. The discipline that Saturn enforced, the meticulous budgeting, the value assessment that now becomes the bedrock for sustainable wealth creation, rather than just basic survival. You shift from fear to abundance, but the key is maintaining those hard-won habits.
And that timing is absolutely phenomenal because Venus, the ruler of money and value, enters that same income zone almost at the exact same time.
That alignment creates what we call the money magnet window, and it runs robustly from February 10th to March 6th. Venus enters your second house right as Saturn is leaving. This isn't just a financially lucky time. It is the absolute best time of the year to take concrete, proactive action on your income.
So we're talking negotiations. This isn't a time to sit back and wait for opportunities. It's a time to demand fair compensation.
Exactly. Use your new Mars-Venus confidence from the previous weeks. This is the time to ask for that raise, to confidently increase your professional rates, or to launch that profitable product or service that reflects your newly established self-worth. The cosmic energy supports a favorable outcome.
So you present your case logically, firmly during this specific window.
And cash will flow more easily, reflecting your true value.
Okay, moving into March, the analysis highlights a critical climax point, but this time it's about shared resources, loans, debt.
That is the total lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 3rd. And this activates your 8th house of shared resources, intimacy, power dynamics, and debt. And the 8th house is deep. It governs control, trust, and how you merge your life with others, especially financially.
So this is more than just settling bills. It sounds like the financial liberation here is tied to an emotional liberation.
Precisely. This eclipse brings matters to a head regarding other people's money. It's a climax point. It could manifest as paying off a significant, nagging credit card debt, finally settling a tax matter, or maybe receiving an inheritance or a large commission.
But because it's the 8th house, it's about the psychology behind it.
Yes, critically, because the 8th house involves trust and control. Clearing this debt represents a psychological liberation. You're letting go of the control, an external entity held over your future.
Then as we move into summer, the financial story pivots entirely. It goes from personal earned income to how money is generated through your relationships.
This is all due to Jupiter's monumental entry into Leo on June 30th, which activates your 7th house of partnership. This is the official start of the profiting from partnerships theme. It's a dramatic shift. Your financial growth becomes inextricably linked to the prosperity of those around you.
So 2 heads are definitely richer than 1 for the rest of 2026. What does this practically look like for someone?
For the rest of the year, financial gain is going to flow through other people. If you're in a committed romantic partnership, your partner might get a major raise or land a fantastic job, and that benefits the entire household.
And in business?
In business, it means a co-founder brings in a massive client, or you sign a lucrative contract with a wealthy collaborator. You're essentially benefiting from the luck and the expansive growth of those closest to you.
But the strategy has to be selective, right? Jupiter expands whatever it touches.
Yes, that is the nuance. You must be highly selective about who you partner with. If you get into a business relationship with someone who is unreliable or financially disorganized, Jupiter will just expand that disorganization.
So vet your partners.
Rigorously. Only team up with those whose success you genuinely respect and want to see expand.
We do get one more spotlight on personal income later in the year, which seems to bring a surprise opportunity.
That's the partial lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th, and it hits your 2nd house of earned income again. Lunar eclipses often signal these emotional climaxes, unexpected endings, or revelations.
So this could be a sudden change in how you make money.
A very sudden change. Maybe an unexpected job offer appears, or a major project suddenly gets the green light. Or perhaps you realize that a hobby or a skill you developed during that personal reboot phase in the spring can now be monetized into a completely new income stream.
It forces a decision about your earning structure.
It does. It allows you to quickly capitalize on your renewed self-worth.
Now, we have to brace ourselves for the end-of-year caution, the infamous Venus retrograde, this time in your career zone. This period demands a lot of patience.
This is the critical value audit phase. It runs from October 3rd to November 13th. Venus goes retrograde in your 10th house of career and public status. And since Venus governs value and money, this translates directly into professional delays and a feeling of being undervalued.
Oof. It's not just delays either. The data shows this is a high-risk time for your morale.
Absolutely. A promised bonus might be held up, a commission delayed. You might just perceive that your contributions are not being recognized or adequately compensated. The vibe is one of financial stagnation and professional frustration.
So what's the strategic approach? You can't afford to react emotionally here.
No, the strategic approach is crucial. This is not the time to panic or quit or send aggressive emails. The universe is forcing an internal recalibration of your value. Use this period for market research.
Okay, so you gather data.
Quietly gather the data. What are your peers earning? What is your industry paying? Document every single one of your achievements meticulously and prepare a rock-solid data-driven case for your raise.
And the actual presentation of that case has to wait until the air clears?
Yes. Delay any major financial negotiations or career moves until after the retrograde ends. Ideally, wait until December. By then, your emotions will be clear, the research will be done, and you'll likely find you get what you asked for once Venus moves forward again.
Okay, to summarize, financial restrictions end in February, which opens that money magnet window from February 10th to March 6th. You clear major debt in March. Then for most of the year, success flows through highly vetted partnerships, but you have to be extremely patient during that autumn pay audit.
That's the map.
So let's make that transition from personal self-worth and financial gain and connect it directly to love and romance. The analysis shows the me energy built the foundation, and now we move into the we energy, marking the most significant period for serious relationships Aquarius has seen in over a decade.
And this is where all that early year work pays off. Your new confidence, established by that Mars-Venus transit, makes you an incredibly attractive and stable potential partner. The focus now shifts entirely to finding and committing to someone who is worthy of that powerful self you've just created.
But before the big summer of commitment kicks off, the data highlights some unexpected sparks and a definite jolt to the dating routine in the spring.
That is tied to the long-term shift of your ruling planet Uranus, entering Gemini around April 25th. And that activates your 5th house of dating, creativity, and fun. Uranus is the planet of disruption and genius, and in this sector, it just thrives on the unexpected.
So how does this Uranian energy manifest in the dating world for an Aquarius?
It shakes up your preferences dramatically. You might suddenly find yourself attracted to people who are completely different from your usual type.
Like what?
Perhaps someone with a highly unique or eccentric job, a different cultural background, or just someone who stimulates your intellect in a way you never saw coming. Routine dates will feel boring. You're seeking novelty and that intellectual spark.
And the new moon in Gemini on June 14th sounds like the official curtain raiser for this new, exciting romantic cycle.
It creates a fresh 2-week window for romantic initiation. So if you're single, this weekend and the weeks that follow are prime time to socialize, attend classes, or engage in activities that broaden your mental horizons. The energy is curious, it's light, and it's excellent for meeting someone who's both stimulating and fun.
All right, now for the main event, and we need to expand on this. The partnership transit starting June 30th. This is the 12-year gift.
This is the defining feature of 2026 for your relational life, Aquarius. Expansive, lucky Jupiter enters Leo, the sign directly opposite yours, which governs the 7th house of serious committed partnerships.
And Jupiter only visits this sector every 12 years.
Which makes this a monumental opportunity for growth and stabilization in love.
So what's the emotional and relational vibe that Jupiter brings? Is it serious, or is it more about fun?
It's generous, it's warm, and it's highly focused on shared joy. You'll feel less inclined to be that emotionally detached, lone wolf archetype and genuinely interested in co-creating a magnificent life with someone.
So for people dating, this could speed things up.
It accelerates the path to exclusivity, moving in together, marriage. For committed couples, it deepens shared happiness, trust, and mutual growth. Jupiter demands a large, open-hearted commitment.
And the analysis points to a kind of cosmic destiny event right in the middle of this transit.
The total solar eclipse in Leo on August 12th. This is directly impacting your relationship sector. And eclipses here often signal an event that feels fated or meant to be, and it accelerates the natural progression of a relationship dramatically.
So this is the moment for the sudden engagement, the decision to merge household, or maybe that unexpected meeting that fundamentally alters a single person's life path.
Absolutely. If you're single, this is the window where you might meet a long-term partner seemingly out of the blue. Or a connection you thought was casual suddenly becomes deeply serious. If you're attached, it's the perfect high-energy date for a major announcement, a proposal, or even a ceremony.
This event seals the deal.
It seals the deal. It marks a new shared trajectory.
However, the summer isn't all sweet serenity. The data warns about a period of intense passion that comes with an undercurrent of friction starting in late September.
That happens on September 27th, when high-octane Mars enters the relationship zone, also in Leo. So while Jupiter is providing the luck, Mars brings the pure energy, the heat, and critically, the capacity for conflict.
Relationships need a certain amount of friction to grow, but how does an Aquarius manage the possibility of explosive arguments during this phase?
The intensity is just doubled. There will be increased physical energy and passion, which is fantastic for intimacy and shared goals, but tempers will be short.
Okay, so what's the strategic advice?
Channel that Mars heat into constructive joint activities, like a shared physical hobby, renovating a space, aggressive goal setting, and avoid petty arguments over trivial matters. If a conflict arises, prioritize fighting fair and seeking a quick resolution. The energy won't allow for passive-aggressive silence.
Then we hit the necessary slowdown, the review and reflect period. This Venus retrograde has to be navigated very carefully in relationships.
From October 3rd to November 13th, Venus retrograde forces a critical review of your feelings, your relationship values, and your true level of commitment. This retrograde is asking you to slow down and address any underlying unresolved issues.
And this is classically the time when the ghost of relationships past reemerges, isn't it?
There is a high probability of hearing from exes, or revisiting previous relationship dynamics. You might question your current status or find yourself reevaluating the very foundation of your commitment. The universe is demanding you take a pause and ensure your heart is genuinely aligned with your path.
And the key strategic warning for this time:
Avoid rushing into a brand new defining relationship, or, on the flip side, initiating a major irreversible breakup during these specific weeks. Decisions made under retrograde energy often lack clarity and are regretted later. Use the time for reflection. Wait until mid-November for decisive action.
Okay, let's just lay out the strategic love roadmap. Best time for a meaningful first date.
I would say January 20th when the charm is high, April 25th for those unexpected sparks, or June 14th for that intellectual connection from the new moon.
And what about the best time for commitment, marriage, or moving in together?
July 21st when Jupiter is strong, and especially that destiny date, August 12th.
And the dates to be mindful of friction and quick tempers?
September 27th when Mars brings the heat, and the start of the retrograde on October 3rd, where reflection, not action, is paramount.
Okay, we established that the Personal Confidence Launchpad in January swiftly moves into a collaborative, contract-focused summer. This creates a really dynamic professional year.
That's right. The 2026 professional roadmap for Aquarius involves a burst of solo ambition in the first quarter, which leads to major success achieved through partnerships in Q2 and Q3, and it all concludes with a necessary, intense professional audit in Q4.
Let's just reiterate the sheer power of that launchpad phase. January 23rd to March 2nd, Mars in Aquarius.
This is where you leverage your autonomy. Mars provides the stamina, the drive, the courage you need to launch new initiatives, pitch those unique, groundbreaking ideas, and step into roles of authority. People just naturally see you as highly capable.
They see you as the one to follow.
Exactly. This is your personal branding phase.
And we noted that the solar eclipse on February 17th acts as a total reboot of your professional brand, too.
Absolutely. This is the moment to seize control of your own narrative. Change your professional look, update your resume with a powerful new title, or set a bold new 12-month career objective that reflects your elevated self-worth. If you felt underestimated in 2025, the eclipse lets you fundamentally redesign how the professional world sees you.
And then the success story pivots hard in the summer to the deal-making season, powered by Jupiter entering Leo in your 7th house of partnerships. How does that Jupiter luck specifically translate into career growth?
This is excellent news for anyone whose career involves negotiation, client relations, or collaboration. Jupiter brings incredible luck to contracts. If you're a freelancer, this helps you land what we call whale clients.
Big, high-paying, stable contract.
Exactly. And if you're an employee, it can help you negotiate highly favorable terms or, crucially, find a powerful, high-level mentor or sponsor who actively advocates for your promotion.
So the strategic directive has to be, do not try to achieve massive success in isolation during this phase.
Focus intensely on your network. Opportunities, lucrative clients, and powerful advocates are going to come through people you know and new connections you make. The energy supports co-creation and growth, but only if you're willing to share credit and actively seek out synergistic alliances.
Being a lone wolf during this transit is just leaving money on the table.
And opportunity. You're leaving opportunity on the table.
So which date is highlighted as the absolute best for signing that path-altering contract or finalizing a business merger?
Look toward June 30th, the moment Jupiter enters the zone. But the most powerful destiny-driven date is August 12th, the total solar eclipse in Leo. That eclipse is perfect for signing a long-term, significant contract, finalizing a major co-founder agreement, or solidifying a business merger that locks in your trajectory for years to come.
Okay, let's now transition to the period that demands the most careful, tactical planning. The career audit in the autumn. This is the challenge of the double retrograde.
This phase requires extreme caution and patience. It takes place in your 10th house of career. Venus goes retrograde starting October 3rd, governing your professional satisfaction and compensation, and then Mercury joins the backward movement on October 24th.
And Mercury governs communication and details.
Correct. And both of them are moving backward until mid-November.
The professional vibe just sounds like a minefield of potential frustration.
It is. There's a high risk of feeling unappreciated, delayed promotions, canceled projects, extremely slow client payments. The Mercury retrograde, specifically, means misunderstandings at work and technical errors are highly likely. You just can't trust the clarity of the air during this time.
So what's the strategic playbook for managing this 6-week standstill? If we can't launch and we shouldn't quit, what does this redo philosophy really entail?
It means intense internal refinement. Redo your professional materials. Rebrand your business identity, rewrite your mission statement, meticulously update your resume. This is also the time to reconnect with old colleagues or former clients.
And the explicit warning is non-negotiable.
Do not launch any brand new business entity or rage quit during this window.
And given that Mercury retrograde component, we have to stress the necessity of a paper trail.
Absolutely essential. Document every single conversation, confirmation, meeting outcome. Send follow-up emails confirming verbal agreements. This obsessive attention to detail will protect your professional reputation when misunderstandings inevitably arise between October 24th and November 13th.
I appreciate that detail. It transforms a frustrating delay into a necessary period of structural maintenance. When can Aquarius push forward with full confidence again?
December 4th. Venus moves forward in your career zone again. The delays lift, the internal audit is complete. You can now push for that raise, launch that refined project, or sign that client with clarity and confidence. You end the year with strong momentum.
So power dates for launching solo projects, January 23rd, and that brand new start of February 17th.
And the best dates for signing significant contracts through a partnership are June 30th and the destiny date, August 12th.
And that strategic review period, October 3rd to November 13th. Treat it like a mandatory business systems update.
Exactly.
Moving to health and wellness, we have to analyze the high-voltage physical energy Aquarius starts the year with, and the critical corresponding need for careful balance between action and rest, particularly nervous system regulation.
Yes, that adrenaline rush is tied directly to Mars being in Aquarius from January 23rd to March 2nd. This is peak physical performance time for you.
What does that feel like?
This transit endows you with the highest physical energy, drive, and internal warrior spirit of any sign. You'll feel restless, full of initiative, highly motivated. This energy is perfect for aggressive physical outlets. Think high-intensity interval training, martial arts, running, boxing.
Anything that lets you efficiently burn off that excess charge? But if that intense charge isn't managed or burned off constructively, what's the risk?
The risk is high. If this kinetic energy turns inward, it manifests as anxiety, high-strung irritability, and even muscular inflammation. Furthermore, because you'll be moving at such a high velocity, watch out for minor accidents due to rushing, tripping, cutting a finger, overexertion.
Mindfulness is mandatory during this rapid pace.
It is. But for the first half of the year, there is a major healing opportunity linked to nurturing and care.
The healing transit.
Yes, running from January until Jupiter shifts on June 30th. Jupiter is moving through Cancer, your 6th house of health and routine. This is the most beneficial transit for deep wellness and healing you've experienced in 12 years.
So this suggests that if you have a chronic health issue, efforts to heal it or find a solution will be highly successful during this time.
Absolutely. The body responds exceptionally well to nurturing restorative therapies. And since this transit involves the water sign of Cancer, your physical health is intimately linked to your emotional and digestive systems. The focus should be on nutrition, emotional healing, massage, water-based therapies. It's an ideal time for successful medical procedures.
And we can't forget the standard Jupiter warning here, expansion.
The indulgence warning is particularly relevant in the 6th house. Jupiter expands what it touches, and unfortunately, this can lead to weight gain if you allow it, particularly through emotional eating or overindulging in comfort foods.
So the strategic focus has to shift from comfort to nourishment.
That's the key to avoiding unwanted physical expansion.
Now, the physical vitality of the early year gives way to a major long-term focus on the mental landscape and the nervous system starting in mid-February. This feels like a profound shift.
That begins around February 13th, and it lasts well into the future as Saturn enters your 3rd house of mind, communication, and mobility. Saturn is the planet of weight and seriousness. It adds structure, but also friction to your thought processes, leading to mental exhaustion.
So your mental load increases significantly, and that weight can manifest physically in specific ways.
Precisely. You might experience tension headaches, stiffness in the neck, shoulders, and arms, and an increased risk of conditions like carpal tunnel as your mind works overtime. The universe is demanding that mental rest be prioritized equally with physical exercise.
So what's the fix for this long-term transit? What are the key non-negotiable requirements?
Breathwork is your most potent tool. Simple, structured breathing exercises can counteract the mental congestion Saturn brings. Stretching the upper body, neck, and shoulders, maybe incorporating yoga or Pilates, is non-negotiable, especially if you have a desk job.
And sleep.
Critically, ensuring you get a full, uninterrupted 8 hours of sleep moves from being a luxury to a mandatory health requirement for maintaining mental stability.
Finally, let's tie that work stress audit back to the physical body. The autumn retrograde period sounds like it will physically manifest.
Oh, the stress from the Venus and Mercury retrogrades in the career zone, October 3rd to November 13th, will absolutely manifest physically. You might experience unexpected skin flare-ups, sudden colds, or just total debilitating exhaustion due to professional pressure.
The strategy, then, is immediate self-care without guilt.
If your body says stop, you must listen immediately and ruthlessly. Do not try to power through burnout during those weeks. Disconnecting completely from work emails and professional pressure after a set time, say 6 p.m., is a critical non-negotiable boundary.
It's about preventing a physical breakdown.
Yes. And as the year closes, Mars shifts on November 25th, focusing energy onto the 8th house of transformation. Your focus shifts away from physical action and towards psychological health and deep emotional healing.
So the end of the year is an ideal time for therapy, research into your behavioral patterns, or deep emotional processing.
Exactly. It's about organizing your mind and emotions before the start of the next cycle.
Okay, so best time for fitness and aggressive goal setting.
January 23rd through March 2nd, no question.
And the best time for deep healing or medical procedures.
The first half of the year, right up until June 30th.
And when must you guard your nervous system and prioritize mental rest?
October 3rd through November 13th. You have to guard that peace fiercely.
What an extensive and strategic blueprint for Aquarius in 2026. If we look at the entire cosmic trajectory, it is fundamentally a story of self-determination. The radical self-focus and confidence you build early in the year give you the necessary identity to attract and leverage massive opportunities through highly beneficial partnerships later on.
The transformation is immense. The two major themes, the power of personal reinvention, kicked off by that early Mars-Venus conjunction and eclipse, and the massive opportunities brought by Jupiter's entry into the partnership zone, they are perfectly sequenced.
So you achieve success this year through association, but only because you first clarified your own intrinsic value.
Exactly. The ultimate outcome is stability. By the time 2026 wraps up, the analysis shows Aquarius will feel far more settled and secure in all core areas of life, love, money, career direction than when the year began. You'll have learned deep, practical lessons about commitment, collaboration, and self-worth.
And do you have a final provocative thought for Aquarius to carry forward?
I do. Building on the profound luck Jupiter brings into your partnership zone. The data suggests your challenge this year is not in finding opportunities, because they will arrive in abundance. Your true strategic hurdle is learning how to genuinely share the spotlight, to trust others fully, and to accept help and exponential growth from outside of yourself.
So your ability to integrate yourself into a powerful team rather than leading from that intellectual detachment will define your ultimate success.
That is what will define your long-term success.
That reframes the entire year from solo achievement to a shared destiny. Thank you for joining us for this in-depth analysis of your year ahead. Now go forth and strategically put this blueprint into action.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Horoscope TV. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow the show so you don't miss the next forecast. Can't wait for the next episode? You don't have to. Get more astrology insights and read your daily horoscope right now at horoscope.tv. That's horoscope.tv. We'll see you in the next episode.